We're laying out the complete roadmap for any professional who's been dreaming about a career in Luxembourg. If that sounds like you, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down the entire 2025 work visa process step by step.
So let's just kick things off with a question. Are you really ready to plant your career right in the heart of Europe? Because that is exactly what Luxembourg offers. So let's dive in and see if this journey is the right one for you. And look, this isn't just a vibe or a feeling. This quote right here says it all. Luxembourg has really cemented its reputation as a top-tier spot for international talent. For a lot of people, making this move isn't just a change of scenery, it's a genuine upgrade. So what's the big deal? What makes it so attractive? Okay, let's get into it. Before we even touch the paperwork and the how, let's talk about the why. What are the real, tangible benefits that are pulling professionals from every corner of the globe to this small but seriously mighty country?
And wow, this really paints the picture, doesn't it? I mean, we are talking about one of the highest GDPs per capita in the world. That means really competitive salaries and a fantastic social security system. It's a hub for huge multinational companies in finance, IT, and logistics. This creates this incredible international vibe where you can actually grow your career. And get this, its location, smack dab in the middle of Europe, perfect for those weekend trips.
Okay, time for our first big reality check on this journey. Eligibility. It's super important. The rules are actually pretty black and white, so let's figure out who this whole process is really for.
You know, your next steps completely depend on the passport you're holding. So let's make it crystal clear who needs to listen up for the rest of this explainer.
Okay, so the breakdown is super simple. Basically, if you're a citizen of an EU country, the European Economic Area, or Switzerland, you're golden. You have free movement rights, which means you can live and work in Luxembourg without a visa. This explainer? It's for all you talented folks from outside that zone who want to work in Luxembourg for more than 90 days. So if that's you, here's the checklist you need to run through before you do anything else. You absolutely need a confirmed job offer. You need the skills and qualifications to back it up. You need a valid passport that's not expiring anytime soon. A clean criminal record is a must, and you've got to meet the local health standards. If you can check all these off, then, and only then, are you ready to move on.
All right, let's get to the main event, the application process itself. We've broken it down into 7 clear, manageable steps. This is your game plan, your direct path from that job offer all the way to starting your new life in Luxembourg. So, this right here is your entire game plan from start to finish. Step 1, and it's the big one, you've got to secure that job offer. For step 2, your new boss takes the lead. They apply for your work authorization, and they have to prove they couldn't find someone local for the job. Step 3 is the waiting game. You just got to wait for that decision. Once it's approved, you're on to step 4, applying for your own long-stay Type D visa. Step 5 is usually an interview where you'll provide your fingerprints and photo at an embassy. Step 6 is the exciting part. You get your visa and book your flight. And finally, step 7, the moment you land, you have to complete the final crucial step, registering at your local municipal office, the commune. Okay, I'm going to pause here for a second, because this is so important. Let me say it again. No job offer, no visa. Period. The entire process hangs on you finding an employer in Luxembourg who is ready to give you a signed contract. Your job search is basically step 0. Okay, so we've got the map. Now it's time to pack our bags, metaphorically speaking. This is all about the nitty-gritty, the paperwork you need to gather, how much it's going to cost, and most importantly, how long this is all going to take.
Think of this as your document survival kit. Beyond the usual suspects like your passport and some photos, you need that golden ticket, the work authorization letter from your employer. You'll also need that signed contract and even proof that you have a place to live. And here's a little pro tip for you. Get that police clearance certificate started ASAP. Seriously, that one can sometimes take the longest to get.
All right, let's crunch the numbers, shall we? First, that work authorization your employer handles, that's going to take about 3 to 6 weeks. After that, your part, the visa application itself, is another 4 to 8 weeks. The good news is the fee is pretty reasonable, usually somewhere between 60 and 100 euros. So what's the bottom line here? You have to plan way ahead of when you actually want to start your job.
So you've done it. You've landed in Luxembourg. Congrats. But hold on, the journey isn't quite over yet. Let's talk about what you need to do right after you arrive to really get settled in and start building your new life.
This timeline right here is your best friend for your first few days and even years. And listen up, because this is critical. You have just 3 days, to register at your local commune. This is not optional, folks. Once you do that, you'll get your official residence permit card in the mail. And then, looking down the road, after 5 straight years of living and working there, you can actually apply for permanent residency, which is a huge deal.
Now, for all of you with a family, this is a big one. Once you're all set up with your job and your own residency is official, you can start the process to bring your spouse and dependent kids over to join you through what's called family reunification.
All right, we are in the home stretch of our roadmap. And to make sure your journey is more smooth sailing and less of a bumpy road, we put together some final tips and warnings to help you avoid the common mistakes.
Honestly, just think of this as your do's and don'ts cheat sheet. On the do side, be an early bird. Start way ahead of time. Be meticulous. Use a checklist for your documents. Check if anything needs to be officially translated, and make copies of every single thing. On the don't side, the absolute #1 mistake, applying without that job offer. Also, don't hand in a half-finished application. Don't forget that 3-day registration deadline, and whatever you do, don't let your permit expire before you start the renewal process.
And that's a wrap. Look, it's a process with a lot of steps for sure. But if you're prepared and you follow the map, it is totally doable. So the question really isn't how anymore, it's when.